Just waiting for the Twitch to pick it up.
I think it's working now.
Yep, we are live.
I'm ready to
Hey
go.
everyone. That's a lot of people. I'm here together with some of the developers from the Celeste Fan Project of Age of Empires Online. We're here with Kevsoft.
Hi.
We're here with Luciano.
Hello.
And PF2K is here as well. He's AFK at the moment, but he will be rejoining us shortly. So, let's start with the beginning. How did you guys start with the How did you meet up as a group and start working on Age of Empires together? Let's start with Luciano.
So I think about a year and a half ago, I started trying to reverse engineer the offline version of Age of Empires Online. So I discovered that just by changing some options on a text file, pretty much, that you could get the game to run offline, and it only worked on a very, very old version of the game. I did more modding to it and released that project as Project Penelope, which enabled the editor and a bunch of other things. And the community took that on and built their own thing with it. And the community that built around that was where I think Ridak came from, and an early member that hasn't been with us for a while, but Kisonic. And while working on that, they got in contact with me, and then we progressed more on the reverse engineering. And just over the course of like a month, Verdag was and Kisonic were able to get past what I've been working on for a year. So everything progressed really quickly, and we started. Verdag was our only server developed for a while because Kisonic kind of disappeared. He was about to get fired from work from dedicating so much time to us. And one day, Kev just reached out to me, asked if he could help. I asked him for some samples of his work, and it was really, really good. So we brought him on. PF2K joined us after he was a very prominent member of the community back when the game was officially live. And he asked to come on as a PvP balance testing dev.
Yeah, something like that. I back in the day before the game was shut down, the last remaining balance tester for the game, like the official member who we all know as I am Prez Steve. I'm sure most of people who are watching the stream remember him. Asked me and another member of the community, Trollercules actually, to help him make one last balance patch for the game. But it actually never happened. However, I kept the patch notes that we prepared for that last balance patch, and then when I heard about Celeste and talked to Lucian about it, I asked him if it's possible to do those changes in Celeste, and he said you can do it. And then that was the beginning of my collaboration with the Celeste developer team. But don't give me as much credit as the other guys. They do much more than me, I think.
Yeah. For the better part of 1 year, I was stuck because I had missed one byte. You can probably still find the code out there for my research. But I was missing one byte, which was discovered by Kisonic. And then from there on, the project just kind of exploded. And like I went offline for 2 days and I came back and like we had so much ready already, and Redag came on and refactored our code and made it awesome and be able to run with many more users and actual coherent. So he then, over the course of 2 months, made the entire server.
Yeah, brilliant job.
Yeah, Ritag seems to be one of the main lead developers for the server management at least, and
Yeah.
like making patches and everything. Um, we haven't actually talked about this, but why don't you guys tell us um, what your part of the development team is?
I mean, you mean our roles in the team?
Yeah, or your roles. Like, I know that PF2K is mainly the PvP guy. It takes care of PvP and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we don't have extremely defined roles, but we do have like parts that we collaborate the most. I mean, dedicate more time to, I guess would be the better way to say it. PF2K dedicates the most time to PvP, but he also helps out in a bunch of other ways. And so if I'm going to answer that, I'll probably just answer as who's more dedicated to what. And I think you're right that Redag is the server dev. I think
Basically,
Kev, sorry if I'm misspeaking, Kev, but Kev is more of the research because there's still a lot of research to be done within their code. And then PF2K does a bit of everything in PvP, and lately I've been focused on the web content and admin.
Okay, well, that's great. We we do have. I have had some questions asked to me that I have written up that I will be going through. We will later on take questions from the Twitch chat if there's any questions that people want to ask. And I can start with the most recent question that I actually discussed with Kevsoft if it was okay to talk about because he said that it
yeah.
wasn't sure that it was
I'm
suitable for
scared
the
now.
public eye. So, but yeah, AOE Granny 2 is apparently a animation program, and there's a guy that is asking if you guys will be able to get the script codes for Granny 2 that AOE Online uses, so that you can make animations for AOE 2
AOE 2?
or
What?
AOEO. Sorry, I misspoke. For AOEO.
I think from what I remember, the license for that is like pretty costly, and while we're at this stage of like a stage of the community with the number of people we have, I don't think it's a very realistic thing to expect. Not sure though. I think Luciano can tell us the truth if it's not what I said.
It's last I checked, the license was about 15K.
There you go.
And on top of that, we would still need the people to do the models and meshes and stuff that we don't already have. So it would be costly and would also require labor that we don't really have right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I mean, it's not
yeah,
impossible, but not in the near future, at least.
that said, we we have ways to mod things into the game to work around some of these issues and to kind of Frankenstein some of the any new units or something like that together. We can edit textures, so we could retexture units, and we can combine parts of models to kind of make something. But it, it it wouldn't look as good, obviously, as a brand new animation, a brand new unit.
Yeah, so, but yeah, at some point you might be able to get the codes for the Granny 2 in order to make new models for Age of Empires Online then. I think it depends
Probably.
on a lot of if people are willing to donate and how much they donate as well, because all of the money that people are donating goes to, I'm guessing, server costs and maintenance of the server and
Mm-hmm.
all of that stuff. And I mean, at some point, if there's enough left over, then maybe you can get the licenses to grind it to and being able to make your
All
own
the
art.
leftover. I'm sorry. All the leftover in the world won't combine up to $15,000, though.
Yeah, we're pretty
But
far
Yeah.
from that, but
well, yeah, but you never know. I mean, if every member that is part of this project, we're about 5,000 members, if I'm not mistaken. If every member were to donate $10 each, then there's plenty.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
5,350.
Yeah.
you bring that money, and I promise you that we'll get it done.
But
It's
yeah,
it's a I mean it's a distant thing, obviously, but on top of that, it doesn't stop there because creating a new civ in itself is a large task.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk like the Romans are coming soon and stuff like that. And I know that sure the a lot of the models and textures for Roman buildings and units might be already finished, but that doesn't mean that it's coming soon. It just means that it's less work for you when you actually can build on it.
So that's actually a myth.
Yeah.
Whatever
It's
version would have had that, I downloaded every single patch of the original game, even the beta versions, the uh, QA versions, which means it's the versions that went up to their servers for their team to test before it went public. I downloaded, I don't know, like 30 or 40 different versions of the game and looked through all of them, and there was no Romans.
Okay, so
yeah. It's
there will
just
be a lot
basic
of work.
stuff. Yeah, like icons and some like unit behavior files that I found. But
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, there's not really too much to go on. We would basically have to come up with a new civ almost. Like imagine 10% of the civ is here, but the rest has to be done by us.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and we also have another question um, about the servers actually from NCS Geek.
Mm.
How are the Age of Empires online servers hosted? Is it a dedicate on its own machine? And does the server handle anything with multiplayer match, or are multiplayer matches peer to peer? And if that's true, the server would only be used for accounts, progress, etc., etc. And I know that this is a question for Ridog, so Ridog, if you are here on in the chat, then you can answer this question.
I mean, I
Um,
could partially answer the question.
Yeah, I think Kevsoft can answer.
So, multiplayer is peer-to-peer. That's why my implementation of the for XLive, or my improvement on XLive, brought co-op and PvP back, and therefore the servers are um, not so in the load. So yeah, the servers are on a dedicated on a Windows server hosted, and yeah, basically.
yeah. So the PvP multiplayer is the same basically as the previous Age games, where the server just goes, "Hey, you computer, talk to this other computer," and then this is their addresses, and go ahead, talk. Like there is
Okay.
no the simulation running in each machine will check against each other to verify that you have the same files and the same outcome are um, are happening. So if someone tries to hack the other machine, it'll be like, "Hey, this person's outcome is not the same," and we'll drop the game. Um,
Yeah.
so I see someone mention the grainy 3D thing. Yeah, if someone comes in and they have a license already, cool. We'll take that in. But ourselves, we don't have it.
Okay, well, Kuran Pexe has asked on the Twitch chat as well that he's asking for when milestones will be arriving.
Oh god.
And I mean, milestones is a lot of questions. There's been a lot of talk about it, and I know that milestones is being worked on at the moment. There's a lot of work to be done for the milestones to be working, and I'm the if I'm not mistaken, milestones is the next big thing that you are going to release. If I'm not mistaken,
No, Sparta.
the Sparta PvP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so the Sparta
So
PvP is the next part then. Okay.
of course.
so
About time.
for the milestones, the research is, I believe, pretty close to done. It's the coding part now.
Yeah, it's more the
left.
implementation that's missing.
Sparta took a lot of research.
Oh yeah, God.
Kev and Radag spent quite a lot of time trying to get it working.
we had our fun, yeah.
Yep. So I know. I mean, the last survey we did, milestones were very, very popular, and so that just needs to be implemented now, so we can make that a goal. And we don't have to be like, oh, we're researching, so it could be done now or in 10 years. We don't know. Which was the case with Sparta before.
Yeah. And he also had another question about when will we be able to change the port option so that you can actually change it from 1,000 to 1,000 and to 1,000 of to between 1,000 to 1,005 if needed, or any other port if they want to.
So with I guess you all saw that we're trying to get more people to work with us to apply for the dev team. I can't answer for Kev or Redag, but I believe that would probably fall within a new team so they can focus on the milestones and other stuff like that.
Okay.
So I don't know if it could be coming tomorrow, but I believe it's a lower priority.
Yeah, we have bigger concerns right now. More core features to be re-added back before milestones are added. It's a little more difficult than it may seem at first.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with the game that's been shut down, and not having the source code for the servers or the client is a big issue, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
you basically have to take what it is and develop it backwards, and then you can start developing forwards.
Yeah, basically. So what's the next question on your list? Is it already done? Do we have to look at Twitch chat?
No. The first question on my list is actually about the new about one of the new legendary quests in Athens.
Okay.
The legendary skirmish 1 versus 1. A lot of people think, or some people think, that being able to do it every 12 hours is a bit too powerful when you can do it with 6 civilizations on a regular basis. Is there any plans to increase the timer on that?
How easy is that to do? The last time I checked, people said that it's impossible complete that quest unless it's like on dueling islands. I've never
Uh,
tried it myself, so I don't know.
there's people that is doing doing this regularly, like every 12 hours on more than 3 civilizations.
Oh boy.
Well, there's always going to be the people who are really good, and they can be rewarded for being really good. But I think we have to look at the numbers of how many people are finishing that quest and try to balance that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what they're using is they're using priests of the empire and taking control of
Oh
everything,
right.
and then
Priests are pretty good.
they are on the third advisory slot. They're using pamphalos so that infantry deals more damage to buildings and just kill everything.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that, but yeah, if it proves to be too good, like compared to the effort that you need to get similar number of chests from Athens, then it will be adjusted.
Okay, and welcome, Troller Achilles or Carnage.
For
Carnage, Zertan, ACT Cure.
for the
Look at all
longest
those
time,
names.
I pronounced it as Troller Kills.
No,
It's
that
never made
triggers
sense.
him. That
Oh
triggers
well.
him so bad. It's Hercules.
The next question on my list is actually one that would be quite good for getting a lot of people to the game and getting the game really public. Um,
Hmm.
it's are you planning at some point to make an official release on Steam with the Celeste launcher integrated with the download?
No, I don't think so. But let's hear the others.
Very unlikely.
As soon as
Yeah,
we get purchased by Microsoft, sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. We can maybe
It's-
even launch our own platform to rival Steam, and then we can release Celeste as the first product.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
people
how
can
likely that is.
sorry, but people can. Well, there's ways we could make the distribution easier, I think, but I don't think we can get it on Steam and not
Yeah,
get Microsoft's Swift bam hammer.
yeah. You can choose between Milestones and Steam. Uh, we'll ask the community which one they want.
Mr. Rewind that is asking, will you get purchased by Microsoft?
Yes,
And Valve at the same time.
and by a lot of money too.
Yeah, I don't personally. I don't think that Microsoft would try to buy this. I mean, it's their own game and everything that we're using. So
Well, we did do the work of removing their crapware from the Windows Gaming Live, whatever it was called.
games for
Yeah,
Windows
Yeah,
games
Live.
for
games for
Windows
Windows
Live.
Live. Worst
So
abomination in
yeah,
gaming industry.
so I mean, I imagine the decision to shut down the game in part came from the fact that they were shutting down that service and they couldn't, take all the code out of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, exactly. They announced the shutdown of games for Windows Live and Age of Empires Online at the same time, but for whatever reason, they shut down Age of Empires Online, but not games for Windows Live. They just discontinued support for it, but it still works in like
Yeah,
older games. If you log in, it will still work. But
Because
yeah,
essentially the login stuff is actually Xbox Live. It was the
yeah, it's the
platform and
same platform. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I do have another question that has been asked a lot on Discord, and there's been a lot of discussion about it. And it's about the old beta gear with the line of sight on it.
Oh my god. Okay.
Are you planning on removing them entirely from the game at some point, or will you leave it as it is? A lot of people have been discussing it and think it's unfair that some people have access to it while others do not have access to them.
Yeah.
well,
Do
they
you
should
know
have
how
gotten in
many
earlier
people have PM'd me
then.
about that?
I
That's
don't
one
want
of
to
the
ban them.
reasons I. That's one of the biggest reasons I disabled the PMs from everybody, because since they see me as the one who does the balance changes, they try to contact me and convince me that line of sight needs to be added back to the game, or the current one needs to be removed. But as far as I know, there are no plans to either remove those gears or bring them back. That's basically what happened in the original game as well.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I don't
in the original game, the people that were there from the beginning and found the basically god OP items, they get to keep them when they remove them from the loot boxes and everything.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I'd like to point out here is that having OP gear is not as big of a concern now as it was in like the old days, like the early days of Age of Empires Online, because you're all playing against the AI. Like the enemy doesn't care about your gear, and you're not playing against real people. Back in the day, OP gear was a big concern in multiplayer, but right now there's champion mode, and I don't see why we would like to take those gear off the people who already have it. I
Yeah,
don't know. That's my opinion on it.
yeah. Luciano, do you have anything to say about this?
We really haven't discussed this at length with the team, so I can tell you my opinion, but I can't promise it's going to be well informed.
Yeah,
I think I
it's
agree with PF2K so far as that people here were early and helping us early, and they found something that to us isn't that big of a deal for them to have. To me, at least. But I mean, it's not saying that we won't change our minds when we do get down and look at the numbers and figure out that people are abusing it somehow.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Or
there's some people using what they call LOS fortresses, because
Ah,
a
yeah.
fortress have such a high base line of sight. Adding line of sight items and using Fort Lieutenant Xanthe basically build. If you build one fortress, you explore the entire map.
Yeah, that's because of that advisor that gives 100% line of sight in H4. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
it's H4.
probably the biggest reason. Yeah, yeah. Well,
there, there is an idea circling around that we've been debating and kind of just not putting focus on yet, but it's been on the back of our minds to make some PvP like special maps instead of just being, so it's geared. It's not champion mode. It's player versus player, but kind of like a scenario where it's more interesting than just the standard build and destroy thing.
like arcade style PvP.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best way to do it. And if we are going that route at some point, I think we would relook at this, but I don't think it's been a topic that we've been exploring too
Yeah,
much yet.
not the biggest concern right now. We're more focused on the multiplayer part right now for Sparta, as we said. Like it has been the biggest point of focus in the recent past. And before that is done, I think this is not going to be focused on.
Yeah.
The one thing with the line of sight gear that made sense to me, as someone pointed out yesterday, was for priests, because they get more range than they can see. So basically, that makes the extra range on the staff and the staves worthless. But other than that, I think it's pretty fine to keep them as they are.
Yeah, I mean,
Can we get to the next
there's.
question, maybe?
Yes, we can.
I have
Actually,
developed an allergy to this line of sight thing.
there's actually one guy that asked on the Twitch chat. Do you guys know of the hack that uses cheat engine to give unlimited population and resources? Got into a game where a guy did that, and it gave me, him, and the AI all of that.
Is
So
it does that work right now in Celeste too?
I do not know that if I don't know if it works in Celeste fan
So there's
project.
always people looking to ruin the game for themselves and others, and
Mm.
we do try to we we're going to look at numbers and logs and figure out how people
Yeah.
might be.
Apparently,
The
it
ban
happened
hammer.
earlier today.
All right,
Yeah.
then please contact me on Discord and let me know how it happened, and I'll make sure that it doesn't happen again. The ban hammer will hit hard.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we're building tools right now to analyze and log data to allow us to see people who are, when behavior that should be flagged would come up, and allow the admin or moderator to see, oh hey, this person did this quest in 5 minutes when most people finish it in 10. They could be really good, but look at other numbers and indicators and see that, oh, they're cheating. Other than that, there's also some cheat protection on the client code as well. So we might be expanding that to take care of whatever this new cheat may be.
Well, I do have plans about anti-cheat systems.
Oh yeah, this is totally Kev's territory. So
Yeah. I'm the client guy.
We should, I think, this gives me a good idea to create a email account or something for reporting cheating and so on.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
I also had another question from Ignatius, I believe it was. Will it be possible to unbind the gear by paying Empire points that has been previously equipped, so that you can sell it? Vending legendary gear seems like such a waste.
Sorry, what was the question? I missed the beginning of the question.
Me too.
Yeah, it's basically if you can unbind gear, like if you have a legendary item that you've bounded, is it at some point possible to make it so that you can unbind it?
Probably not. Like, very unlikely. That makes it. Yeah, that goes against though.
I think it would require some. Kev, correct me if I'm wrong, but the client would not be very easy to do that with the client having the gear set as a bound to be able to somehow vendor it for Empire points, right?
Yeah, for Empire points or for gold or whatever. I mean, if you can use it, you can use it as a money sink for gold coin, because a lot of people have a lot of gold coin.
It's an interesting idea, and I think we can at least explore some options around that. But if people are getting that many legendary gear, there's probably something else we can do. This is one of those like we haven't discussed at all, so it's cool to bring it up. So we'll.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question to bring up and ask. I mean, it's what we want. I mean, we want the community to ask questions, to be able to put well, not demands, but almost demands on the developers to make them think outside the box that they're in with their development.
Right. It's good to know that this is a thing that's happening, and people. I mean, I'm more interested on the problem than I am on any proposed solutions. This is just not that the proposed solution isn't great. It's just that hearing the problem is really good for us to know that's there, and then we can figure out how we can sort it out with either their solution or something that we're already working on.
Okay, so let's see here. Because I've run out of questions now, I'm gonna start to go through the Twitch chat.
Am I allowed to ask questions?
Sure, go ahead.
What's your favorite alliance?
Oh my god!
My
Be very
favorite...
careful. Your account may be banned if you answer the
my favorite alliance, or the alliance I chose on the questionnaire.
Yes.
No, that's pretty
you
smart.
didn't answer my question there.
All right, give me your honest answer. I promise I won't judge too much.
On the questionnaire, the only thing that I could choose was the Legion of Carthage, of course. Personally, I don't think that I actually have a particular favorite alliance. I was on live. I was more for okay, what alliance gives the best like boosts and what items can I buy and stuff like that. And for me, it's always been like that. So I mean, if Carthage has the best items, then it's going to be them. If it's Delos, then it's going to be them. I mean, it's all dependent on if I can improve upon my civilization and be able to clear legendaries better than I am, basically.
They each have their own bonuses. They're all
Yeah,
good.
I know.
The vanity on Carthage is the best, but each alliance has their
There's
own
no
thing
but.
going. No. Yeah, the thing for vanity is of course off the question, but for being able to make use of the bonuses, I think every alliance has its own advantages.
So, what about you, Kev? I haven't heard your answer.
Who? To be honest, um,
Carthage, okay.
okay, yeah, basically.
Oh, that's all
Nice.
right. So another thing I've been meaning as a community is, provided that you've played the Age of Empires in the past and you've played other custom maps from those games, like what is something that you wish would come back in Age of Empires Online, like Deathmatch or Lightning or something like that, or any scenarios like those. I don't know if you guys remember, but there used to be a giant circle map, and then each player would be in a corner sending out units constantly.
King of the Hill?
No, it was like an automated build mode. We selected a building, and it would
Oh.
just make a bunch of infantry. And
I think most people would just want 1v1 ranked first.
could say to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like to see a kind of King of the Hill with 8 players, and it's PvP, and you have to
Oh my
take
god.
something in the middle of the map.
Lagfest. Lagfest, I'm calling it now.
I only did some reverse engineering on Age of Empires 3, but it seems like they've rewritten their network stack for this for Age of Empires Online, and it doesn't seem like 8-player PvP is a thing.
I think maximum is 4 players.
Yeah.
I mean, for the 4 players FFA we have in Sparta. Not sure how we can alter that for 8 players.
It's unfortunate, but
yeah.
I would have loved if it was at least 6.
Okay, let's see. What else do we have for questions? AD Coke asked if is it possible to add more levels above level 40?
Why though? There's like the entire game is built upon the fact that you can't go above level 40. There has to be I mean there needs to be so much scaling and consideration that I think it's like even more difficult than making a new civilization, to be honest.
I think maybe where that question is coming from is that they'd like to continue to progress past level, like they want to show how much they've played and progressed and evolved past that. So I don't know. It's not something I spent time researching. I don't know if Kev has an answer.
I can't say anything about that too. So I didn't research in that direction.
Yeah, because it's a very large application that is written in gibberish, and you have to put the pieces together. And you tend to want to go to just the parts you want answers from, because otherwise you will fall into the trap of trying to understand everything at once, and that never ever works. So we had to focus our efforts to this part.
All right. We actually have a suggestion to the unequip or unbinding gear that we went through. Like when you find something to replace something with, then you make all of the gear that you have bound available to trade through your Empire Vault with yourself, basically, so that you can move the items to another civilization.
So account bound, but not character bound, I guess.
Account bound, but not like tradable for everyone, but account bound.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't have enough technical expertise on that. I'll let the others answer that.
Well, not sure how to implement that. I mean, that's also another thing where we have to say, yeah, we would need to research that, how we could implement that. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So I see a question on the chat about when will modders be able to mute people in game, and I was hoping for it to be yesterday, but then while testing this tool, I deleted PF2K from the game, from our development server. So I don't think that's ready right now.
I don't know. I no longer exist. Just a voice in the void.
Oh no, PF2K city is gone.
No, only.
Just on
Oh, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe that's the intention of the tool, right? We should, instead of mute them, we just nuke them. Maybe it's a feature, not a bug.
Like a mute button and a mute button, yeah.
But soon, very very soon. I've been coding this, and we've had to make some changes due to that issue. Hoping I'll continue work on that after this very stream, and we'll be able to better manage our user base, because that's essential for us to be able to grow, is to be able to manage and make sure people aren't going in chat and saying obscene things when the admins are all offline.
Especially since Sparta is coming up, we need to get a good grasp of the community. Make sure people don't smurf.
We definitely got to have it done before Alliance Wars.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, seems like a good choice. I also read a question a bit earlier. Let's see here if I can find it. I know the question by heart, but I just want to see who it was that wrote it so that I can reference them. There, Javier Millionart. What about making like the gold coins work like empire points, that you have all, so that you have all of your coins available on every civilization?
I don't know. I've never spent time researching into that, but it's really good that, and I wish we did this more often, that people would bring up that, hey, like this is annoying, and then we can keep thinking about that problem once we find this, we have the time to go through that part of the code. So I keep hearing that people have a lot of coin that you want to spend, and that they'd like to have more interaction between the characters, to be account bound less than character bound.
Yeah, not my area.
It's a difficult, large issue if it is an issue, but that's good to keep in mind.
Yeah. Okay, what else do we have here? Lou asked, when shall the Alliance Wars begin? I think it's going to be a bit of time before the Alliance Wars begins, because we have Sparta coming up next, and I'm guessing milestones will be worked on after Sparta.
So to clarify, one way how the team kind of works is that I don't like sit around in a morning meeting and go, okay, Kevs, work on this, and PF2K work on that. I'll work on this, and Redact, whatever. It's like, hey, okay, I think this week I'm going to have time to do this. I'm going to focus on that. Or this is really easy. I can get it done in half a day instead of the 2 weeks that it'll take me to do something else. So I'll do that, get it out of the way. So we all kind of work on our own. Like, we have we know what the community really wants, so we try to focus on that. But sometimes it's easier to do something else first. So soon, maybe.
We also
Soon.
have
Soon TM.
Soon TM. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
soon TM. Saint Benny asked a question where is it possible to change how loot drops? So like you can always get loot of lower level and don't need to farm on a level 10 civilization for getting level 7 items. I know that you can go through the skirmish hall, but the skirmish hall only rewards 2 chests, so it takes ages. And the best way to actually farm items is to level up a civilization to a certain level and then farm a specific quest for ages. So
I am not sure if I understood. Gets
is
okay,
it,
He
did you?
is it
he means
possible to
that
change how the loot drops so that you can still get level 7 chests at level
yeah.
40?
Yeah, he's asking if it's like there's a slider option when you when you access the quest on your quest log to adjust which level of chests are available in that quest inside the loot chest and the reward. And I don't think that's possible just because of how quests work, like the quest file. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the thing is, also a lot of the lower level gear, there's now an upgraded version as the Asian gear, legendary gear. So
yeah.
they place like the older, lower level but powerful gears as legendary gears.
Mhm.
Okay.
Next question.
Let's see. Okay, Amazing Cog has a question. What about missing items on some units? For example, there is no scout special item between level 29 to 39.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Okay.
those are easier to add than most things. So it could be something that, as we get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
content team, we could go, hey, this is a great opportunity to add lower level quests, because me personally, I don't want to just add in more and more difficult quests for legendary level 40 players. It'd be awesome to bring in more variety for the lower, for leveling
Yeah.
up. So, hey, we could do that maybe.
Someone asked her earlier in the chat that I saw that is it possible to make the premium civs start at level 20? I think it's better to have a pro civ start at level 1 instead of the other way around.
Yeah, that's something that I would prefer as well. I mean, starting at level 20 is kind of nice, but you start with this really, really crappy gear and uh, you have to learn how to play the civilization in basically just 20 levels. If they were starting at level 1 or level 3 without the tutorial, then there would be
Yeah.
so much more time to learn how to play the civilization. You wouldn't get wrecked in the beginning if you don't know how to play the civilization.
Well, I mean, they're called pro civs for a reason, but I see your point.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
might be
that
a
was the
usability thing because you
yeah.
don't have to pay for them anymore. So people are starting out as them and then in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Mhm. Next up.
Um, okay, let's see here.
So there are some questions about the client side of things. So the actual game versus a server. Things like making the minimap rotate with the rest of your screen isn't something we can do, unfortunately. Not easily, anyway. Not at all easy. There was a mention of a bug that's client side, I think, by Zerton. It's something else that we can look into and try to figure out why it's happening, but it's
Yeah,
really hard
second
for us
highest priority after Sparta, if you ask me.
I really
Yeah.
want to fix it for him, but I don't have a way to do it right now.
Yeah, somebody living in the US sent an AMD card already. Just for a short time, I guess.
Sorry to do the rail. Go ahead, Sunch.
It's fine. I did have a question from Lou again. From um, maybe if you don't add more levels, maybe try a like prestige system or something.
Me starting again from level 1, that's pretty interesting, but I don't know how easy to implement because all of your
So
gear needs to be unequipped, I guess.
I don't want to talk about something I haven't made, but I kind of been dreaming about making a cool user profile thing on the website, and this is part of the reason I really want to get help doing this, because I don't have that much time to do it. But I really want to do that and sort of add in achievements and things like that that you can use to show off your progress and say, I've acquired all the legendary gear and I've I've leveled up to level 40 and have this extra XP on top of that, or stuff like that, to kind of get people to keep progressing, to feel like they're progressing still. Do all that kind of stuff, but it's a dream. I don't want to promise any of this. If I get help, I'll try to do that.
Well, I'm like I said earlier, I'm going to send in a application with some of the work that I've done, and maybe I can help you with the website.
That would be amazing.
Not that I know Bootstrap, but I usually use a notepad when programming HTML. So, but yeah, let's see. Question: is there a way to become a tester to help test anything new for you guys? That's from Lou again.
I will defer that to Kev.
Can you repeat the question?
Is there a way to become like a tester for new stuff?
Like most of the smaller stuff we already can test that ourselves. The problem is that we have like our own builds of XLife for testing, and they are very special, and I don't want to get them leaked somehow.
Yeah.
That's why I try to really only test with my dev team.
Yeah, we usually do it internally, and the dev servers kind of held together with glue, and like it wouldn't be a fun experience for anyone trying to test
Yeah,
outside of the dev
believe
team.
me, I've spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
It's barely working on coal and wood. So
Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Will Sparta PvP come back or visiting other people's cities? And yes, it will come back. Sparta PvP is what they're working on at the moment. And visiting other people's cities will come at some point. Just be patient.
Correct if I'm wrong, Kev, but visiting people's cities is one of those that the research is still happening, right? So we don't.
Well, the thing is, we know already all how to handle this. Let's say it. We tried it and it was broken, really broken. We tried an implementation, and the funny thing is, we actually uh, the city got copied in your own city, so you then had like both cities, the city you were visiting and your own city in one city.
oh my
And
god, imagine if everybody visited my city.
yes, basically, and that's why we like disabled it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for keeping my city original.
Well, I mean, there's that was one part of the original game. I mean, for instance, with Mouse Mystorium, if someone had a mouse and people came and bought in my mouse, then I would get some of the coin. With
Yeah.
disabling the visiting other cities, that is nothing. That's an income that doesn't exist in
Well,
the game.
This is another thing. I at least have so many cool, I think, ideas for a web team of developers where we could move that onto the user profile and you could sell your stuff there and trade even outside of the game.
Yeah, there was one. I think it was Lou. Lou is he's throwing a lot of questions our way, but he there was one question where will there ever be like a phone application where you can sell stuff while you're not online, so that your offline marketplace and stuff like through the phone?
That would be super cool, and I just need help with it. It's not something I can do realistically by myself, even if I were to remove all of the stuff that's already on my calendar.
Yeah.
So we need people to apply and reach out to your friends, say
Uh,
how cool it will be.
Amazing Cog, that chief you're talking about, was it an elite unit? Because elite units have conversion resistance.
What was his question?
He's asking if conversion rate scales with the enemy HP, because he
No,
converted a chief with Priest of the Empire and it took ages to convert.
no, it doesn't scale with HP.
I think there is a conversion resistance and a rate, right?
Yeah.
Those are the two
That's my
things.
area. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a flat rate for all units except units that have specific resistance. Yeah.
M3SUT85. How do you pronounce that? Do you have any? What were your questions? Sorry, we skipped it. Sorry, my daughter walking.
I'm not sure if this was asked, but here it goes. Is there any plans to bring a live auction to the game, a similar concept to eBay?
Global marketplace, you mean?
Yeah, I
That's
think
his
Yeah.
question.
That's in the works. From what I know, it will eventually be on the game
Yeah,
where you can post
global
your item and
marketplace
then get
is
auctions.
global marketplace is something that they're working on. I don't know if it's going to be live like eBay, where it's 1 minute remaining on the auction, you start bidding
Yeah.
like crazy, or if
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was a post once and it stays there, right, Kev?
Actually, I never knew that this feature existed because probably
Right, in
it
the
was
original.
disabled on one of the servers. At least where I played in the old days, I didn't even knew that this existed.
They never implemented it fully into the game. It's just leftover code, but I've seen it, and from what I know, whenever you post something, it's like it's on a 6-hour timer or something, and then the highest offer gets the item. But don't quote me on that, but that's how I remember it to be.
I've seen there's leftover code there, and there's packet types indicating that it's implemented on the server, was implemented on the server as well. But we haven't gone to that yet. Something really cool. I think everyone thinks it'd be really cool and help the game economy, but
Okay. Destroyer Archer is wondering, I still want to know if the Athens drop rates will be uploaded to the GitHub.
I think so. I don't know. I won't say anything on that.
is it not already, Kev?
I mean, the drop rates in general are on GitHub. Just the filter um, that Aethan legendary gear can only drop in the Aethan's quest is, I think, hard coded in the server code. But if you want to check out the loot table, it's online on GitHub. It's just the only difference between the Athens quest and the other legendary quests is that in Athens they can drop legendary Athens gear, as far as I know.
Also had a question from Destroyer Archer. Will mummy bandages display their regeneration rate, and will there be legendary variants of the other scout gear?
It's possible. We already discussed it, didn't we? It's possible to add newer gear. It's easier than most of the other things that people asked, but we need other people to help us. There's just simply not enough time to do everything on with the current number of
So
the members we have.
So the dev that did Athens, did almost all of it, is on hiatus right now. He's dealing with some stuff with his family and had to step away for a bit. And so we need help to make new content. Reach out to us, send us an email saying that you're interested in helping and some of your ideas, and then we can hopefully bring you on and see how we can help.
We've also had a question about the capital city. If they will be able to place down every type of structure slash unit in the game, like walls, and towers, and stuff that haven't previously been able to be placed in. Like, will you be adding more decorations to be added to the capital cities?
I believe it's fairly easy.
It's not impossible, yeah.
It's something we can do.
Yeah, later.
PF2K volunteered to do it, actually.
Yeah, right after we get 4v4 Sparta.
No,
Yeah,
but I'd be interested in hearing like I guess you guys said walls, and what else would look
walls,
cool in a capital
towers.
city?
Walls,
Towers.
towers. What else? There was like units. I mean, I know that we're limited. They basically the only unit that we're able to place down is the Argos cow.
No, actually, if you go to Vanity Island, you can get units like War Dogs, Immortals, Cataphracts. There, very few people know about it actually, but it's there. It's pretty expensive though. You need a lot of Empire points.
Okay.
But I can't really stay for much longer. But there's another question that I'm also interested in myself that Sparky asked is that are we going to be able to change our player colors inside the game? And I know it's possible, but I don't know if it's possible to change it like for yourself inside the game. So maybe you guys can tell me, Luciano or Kevsoft, is it possible?
Probably something we have to research.
I mean, I
Maybe,
already know
maybe
how to
not.
change it for everybody, but like having it customizable for every person individually, then I don't know.
Player colors, you meant, not the
Yeah.
units.
Yeah. Player colors, like you're usually blue and your co-op partner is
Right,
light
okay.
blue and enemy is red. Yeah,
I
something like
know
that.
that you can put on like
Friend or foe colors.
yeah, friend or foe colors, which makes it so that you have one color, all of your allies have one color, and all of the enemies are red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
and allies are yellow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never looked at it, to be honest. Didn't know it was a thing people wanted, but I'll probably look really quickly, Kev, onto the configuration that the server sends to the user that saves the configuration. I don't know if it's on there.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to
We'll talk
get
about
back to you
this
guys on
soon.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
So
have been streaming now for over an hour, and I
yeah,
think
if
it's
anybody has
time.
any questions regarding PvP, sorry for cutting your speech in half, but if anybody has any questions regarding PvP or the advisors, new advisors, please ask before I leave because I can't really stay on for much longer.
Well, I actually have a question. Do you have any? Could you spoil maybe one or two of the advisors?
Yeah, which ones?
Uh, Take a pick.
I
So
know every one of them, so I mean,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that you can choose which ones you want to spoil. I mean, okay, Marikonui says Greek and Egyptians.
Is that what everybody wants? Greek and Egyptian?
I don't know.
We'll check the chat in 2 minutes. Do you have another question?
Well, but can you create auction channel that would works with command? Example, if I want to put an item, I type /a my item, then my item show up in the chat, and every people that wants to be just type /my name value, then chat automatically displays the bid.
It might actually be simpler to do an actual like basic auction on a site or whatever than it is to do that, because the commands wouldn't be something we'd be using for a while, and I don't think a lot of people would find it as friendly. So I don't know if it would be.
Okay, let's see here. We have Greek and Egyptians, Norse, Celts, Greek and Norse, and Ignace's
Hmm.
Bjorix.
Okay. I guess. All right. So let's see. For Greeks, Alexander is designed to help Greek players use other archers rather than Gastrophides to complete quests. That's all I'm gonna say about Alexander. And for Bjorix also is the huge gold problems they have in H4. He's a plunderer, if you will, and he will aid you with your gold problems. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beefstugan, as for the market, like they said, they are working on the global marketplace, so there will be a market at some point. But yeah,
Mhm.
like I said, we have had this uh, Musictopia. They are H4 advisors, all of them, if I'm not
All of
mistaken.
them. Yeah, all H4. But anyway, I really need to go now, guys. Thanks for the opportunity to talk on this stream, and I'll see you all soon. Take
Yeah, I will
care.
see you around.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
And
All right, guys, let go of your insults now. What do you think of the SDK?
yeah, we actually need to cut this for now.
Yep.
We decided to have this as a 1 hour stream, so, and we've gone over that already. So maybe we can have another one in the future sometime, but we will see.
Yeah, Radag might be available next time, and obviously his view is really cool. He has a lot more to say than I do, probably. So
Well, it's still good to have some of the developers and getting everyone's point of view and so all that. But yeah,
it was really great talking to you guys. We're on the general chat all the time, so if you
Yes.
still have
Yeah.
questions, I'd just like to say this community is awesome. I see really cool community that works together more than anything. It's really easy to moderate. There's not much going on, and everyone's super nice and helpful. And this is kind of how the project goes. It's a community project, so your input and your help is what makes it. We're not, like a development team that has $1 million of funding to do anything. So thank you for everyone's volunteering and donations and keeping us going.
yeah, and thank you guys for making the game happen and bringing it back for us. There's a lot of people that are thankful for the game being back online. So, but yes, that's it for today, guys. And if you have any questions, either post them in the general chat on the Age of Empires online Discord, or you can whisper them to me and I can write them all up and keep them running for them for the next Q&A that we have.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.